make a big noise playing in the street. Gonna be a big man someday. You got mud on your face, you big disgrace. Kicking your can all over the place, singing, we will rock you. We will rock you. Buddy, you're a young man, hard man, shouting in the street. You're gonna take on the world someday. You got blood on your face, a big disgrace, waving your banner all over the place. We will rock you. Sing it out. We will rock you. Buddy, you're an old man, poor man, pleading with your eyes. Gonna make you zombie someday. You got mud on your face, big disgrace. Somebody better put your bag into your place. We will rock you. Sing it. We will rock you. Everybody, we will rock you. We will rock you. All right.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and I have another Q&A, and who doesn't love Queen? So I love that song. I thought it was a great little like fight song for us. And so most people love the intros. If you don't like the intros, there's a solution to every problem, and you just have to fast forward like 2 minutes and I'll be here. But I love singing, dancing. I love music. I'm a big music person, hence why I like to use them in the videos, and I think it just kind of relieves some stress. And so yeah. So I have a few things before I start with Val Nek. So my new website is up. It's meganrose.com, and it'll be linked in the description of this video. And my Telegram page, because I believe YouTube is still censored somewhat. A lot of stuff I can't post. I post a lot on Telegram, and that link is in the description as well. And I post a bunch of horse videos too, so some people are probably really sick of my horse videos. Not me. Not me. Secondly, so I want to explain Val Nek, and I don't explain this in every Q&A, so I understand why people are confused. So sometimes, we've been kind of led to believe that extraterrestrials are like spiritual gurus or spiritual beings, and maybe in some cases they are, but not in Val Nek's case. He is a real person in a body, and most extraterrestrials are incarnated into bodies, ourselves included, right? And are having a physical experience. He just lives somewhere else, right? Extraterrestrials are real people, just live somewhere else, and they have their own families, likes, interests, personal interests, jobs, and Val Nek works for the military for the Galactic Federation. So he's not like a psychic spirit guide where he's predicting events. He is aware of some of the plans, or he is aware of the plans for Earth, and they have timeline technology that can predict or know which events are relevant to us here on Earth. So part of that information I talk about in my book, the connection to the letter 17 and the Galactic Federation. In my book, it's why it's called Welcome to the Future. So that link is in the description as well. But I can't even really explain all of that too, because it's gonna be censored. So thirdly is the Trump arrest. I want to point out a pattern on planet Earth. I don't think people have really noticed this, but So we've all been programmed by the news, right? Before, quote unquote, the Great Awakening, the mainstream media was the news before we knew about fake news, right? And people's minds have been programmed not just by the news, but just by living life on planet Earth. Trauma-based mind control, we're all living, not all of us, but most of the planet is living in a fight or flight response. So in fear, right? And a lot of information on the mainstream news is sensational. It gets your heart rate up. You are in a fight or flight response mode. And then you're looking for a relief. You're looking for something to save you. It's honestly the same psychology and probably similar chemicals that happen in a drug addiction, where you have a fight or flight, you have an emotion that you need to relieve, and then you're looking for a quick fix, right? So presenting a problem and the same people sell you a solution. And I've noticed, because I live in peace, and I don't pay attention to a lot of stuff because I like to live in peace. The world will go on, like whether I know about it or not. But in the truther community, I don't think anyone's doing this nefariously, but releasing sensational information or getting worked up about the Trump arrest, and then we're all in fight or flight response mode until we get a relief, until we get a solution. It's sort of, it feels to me like some sort of enslavement, but I don't think we're doing it on purpose. I just wanted to point it out. The Trump arrest. I think, I understand Trump announced it himself. I feel this is nothing we have to worry about, and I feel he's very smart in the things that he says, that sometimes it's part of the art of war, and it's a war strategy. So I didn't even care, really. But the last thing before we start with Val Nek is Project Bluebeam. So we had all of those UFO reports and the balloon last month. And what I found interesting is I asked Val Nek about Project Bluebeam, and he said that the funds are being drained, that it won't be able to happen because their resources are being drained. And then we had the banking collapse. So I just found that interesting. So yeah. So that's my little spiel. And I hear Val Nek saying, please remind them of my supervisor. Please give them my best. I'm here to answer questions. So let me get a drink. So Val Nek, the Pentagon UFO chief released a report that said there's a possible UFO mothership in our solar system. Do you have comments on that report? Is this a black hat or white hat report? He's saying, I find this news very strange. They have known we are here for a very long time. I have said this many times before. Extraterrestrials have been involved in your planet for a very long time. I can speak to the U.S. Navy. I know of their plans. In some reports, they are releasing to condition the people. Some reports they are releasing to condition the people. Val Nek, is this report, do you know specifically if it was a black hat or a white hat report that the Pentagon released? He says, this is my opinion, only my opinion. I do not have specific knowledge of it. We were not involved in its release, neither the Alliance nor the Galactic Federation of Worlds. I believe it is a distraction to scare the people. Many people do not understand us. Its intention is to harm them. Its intention is to confuse them. I would not pay attention. When we release information, you will know. When you say we, Val Nek, are you talking about like the Navy or the Air Force or the military that the Federation is working for? He says, yes, smart girl. Okay. So the next question and maybe I'll have to reword this. I'm trying to think of a smart way to word this. Can you describe how some of the weapons of the Federation work? He's saying that is my specialty. He's saying we have many ships. All of our ships have these capabilities. We are all trained. It is better if I show you. So he's just showing me in his ship, sitting in the chair, and he has an implant that can connect to the consciousness of the ship. He's saying this is very important. It allows us to kill our enemy very, very quickly, quicker than they can kill us. Please remind them. It is our best move. And he's showing me chess and moving a chess piece across the board. So I see him think and sends the signal to the weapon while he's connected to the ship. And I just see an explosion. He says, I will show you with a reptilian. So he's showing me a reptilian. It's almost like, looks like a laser, like a light with a lot of force. He's saying some of your people call them energy weapons. They work very quickly and efficiently. They leave no debris in space. I'm trying to understand, so just correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm not using the right words. But what it looks like to me is the light or the energy hits the reptilian and it dissolves. It almost burns them, but it looks like it dissolves. He's saying it's a magnetic force that polarizes the atomic bonds. It looks like it repolarizes them, and then it's like the thing goes poof. He's saying that's how we do it. Okay, I don't know if you'll be able to answer this question, but is Space Force creating the same technology, or will the Starfleet have the same technology? Or do they already? He's saying, I will be careful with these words. I have told Megan I have to be vague. I have explained this to her many times. She knows this well. That's true. She is very kind to ask me this question, and he's winking. Okay. He's saying part of your military, part of your programs, again, I have to be vague, have many, many capabilities. That is all I can say. My supervisor will not allow him to say. He says, I do my best. So, says, this is one of my favorite colors. Random note, I love light blue, teal blue, and I love hot pink. Those are my favorite colors. I don't know why I felt like saying this, but, you know, I want to point this out too. It's not about how, like, wearing certain things. This is random. I don't know. I just had this thought. It's not about looking a certain way or presenting yourself a certain way so people will perceive you a certain way. It's about what makes you feel good and what makes you feel good about yourself, and then that energy will transfer over to other people or will be emitted to other people. So it's all about how you feel in your body, and maybe this kind of goes in line with my next question, but Val Nek, does fasting help raise your vibration? So he's saying he doesn't do this, but I know the ETs don't do this. It's not necessary for them to do this. I can already hear him. He thinks some of the stuff we do on Earth and our theories are very strange. But there's an idea that, I'm just explaining to him, there's an idea that when you fast or when you starve your body, Val Nek, that it will raise your vibration or it will like purge you of toxins and eliminate toxins quicker. And raise your vibration. What do you think of this? He's saying, I don't mean to offend anyone. I think your practices are very strange. I do not understand this. I think, Val Nek, that there's some people that believe that our food that we eat is of a lower vibration. So if you starve yourself or fast yourself, it will then raise your vibration. He says, I do agree that eating meat specifically will lower your vibration, and I do not recommend it, but it is your choice. Everybody's genetics on planet Earth, they can be very different. Some of your people will eat meat, some of them will not. Don't. He's saying Megan eats a lot. I eat a lot of food. That's true. I can't deny that. I eat constantly. He says, to answer your question, I do not believe starving yourself specifically will raise your vibration. He's saying, yeah. Okay, next question. So we've talked about Val Nek, the Starseed envoy program before, and I'll just repeat again. For people who don't know, it's kind of like Avatar, if you've seen the movie Avatar, where I'll just explain it like this. It's kind of like the movie of Avatar, where people from a different planet decide to incarnate on a planet and change the ideology and liberate that planet from the inside out. So they have bodies that are extraterrestrials to us, usually in 5D. He says sometimes 6D, but usually 5D. In 5D, leave their bodies in a stasis pod and incarnate as a human in a human body here. And the Federation and the Council of Five have set up that program. So my question, or our questions, Val Nek, is, have the Federation learned anything over time about the Starseed's missions, how to be successful? He's saying, this is one of our biggest projects, a very popular project. Many of your people are very interested in this topic, and he's winking. Many of you know who you are. I encourage you, and he's giving the thumbs up. He is thinking, I am discussing with my supervisor. He's saying, I have to be vague. There are many safety precautions we have taken over time with these beings, with your people, with incarnated extraterrestrials. Many of their identities are hidden. They are never disclosed. They are in many walks of life. He's showing me the world, and they're all over the world. He's saying, not just American. We have learned over time the high risk for suicide, a great loneliness. This is why I encourage you to connect with yourself. You will connect with your people. It will raise your vibration. It will raise your frequency. He's saying, this is what I have to say. Do you want to describe how, they're laughing. Do you want to describe how they've changed the envoy program or the safety precautions of the envoy program over time? He's thinking. He's saying, I can disclose in some cases starting in the 70s. He's thinking, hold on. He's saying, it is better I do not say. There are many evil people on your planet. I have said this before. Our safety measures we will keep a secret. He's winking. There are things that we have done over time as the enemy's threat has increased. We protect our people. He's saying that is all. Does your supervisor, because I know your supervisor maybe have a different perspective because he's from a higher density, is that correct? He's saying, yes, this is true. Smarter than me. Does your supervisor have any advice for the humans, or any advice for incarnated extraterrestrials, or advice for us at all? He's asking him. He says, he is saying this, I will repeat what he says. Please be patient. Many of you have known before you have come here. You have... He is thinking. He's saying we are discussing the best message. Each and every one of you listen very close. We are agreeing on what to say. I don't like to get Megan in trouble. It is for her safety. He's saying we will say this. Many of you knew who you were before you came here. Many of you are still remembering. Many of you think sometimes it is impossible. You like to watch Megan. She remembers well. You are one and the same. You are all beings of light. You are all great beings of light. We are all one. We are all equal. We are the same. And then Val Nek, I can see them. Val Nek says the best of the best. Yes, I agree. Nobody, if you remember coming from 5D, like if you actually remember, it's actually a betrayal to your own people to come here, and because you remembered quicker, to say, I'm better than you, or I'm going to be a middleman between you and extraterrestrials, or you and your own people. You're betraying yourself and you're betraying your own people if you put yourself in authority, in an authority position. And by actually doing that, by putting yourself in an authority position over others, you are actually agreeing to be enslaved yourself, because you are becoming reliant on their energy. So you're enslaving yourself and you're enslaving other people. So I can hear him. He says, well said. Okay, so these are more like fun questions. So the pole shift. Val Nek, there's a theory. Sometimes I laugh because I know that they already know the questions and I can hear them laughing a little bit. He's saying there are younger people in the room. I have allowed a young person to listen. I may ask him to leave. There are a few, and he's winking. You know, they find us just as interesting as we find them, like how we view our world. So yeah, so sometimes, you know, I bet you know, they're all watching YouTube and watching our comments, not just on my channel, but probably on everyone's. So there's a theory that the Earth's poles are moving. The North Pole is moving south and the South Pole is moving north. What do you think of this, Val Nek? He says, I think this is very strange. I don't mean to offend anyone. I don't understand how this can be possible. One pole has a polarity, another pole has another polarity. It is impossible to converge. He's showing me Nikola Tesla. He's saying, think of the laws of the universe. This does not make sense. He's saying, I don't mean to offend. And he's saying, don't shoot the messenger. He's saying it is very strange. So my next question, we've all seen the banking collapse, and it's happening now. Like, there's tons of, this is why I ask people to follow on Telegram. There's tons of stuff being posted about the banking collapse. And specifically Silicon Valley Bank had a lot of tech startups and it collapsed. And so, Val Nek, is there a plan in place? The banking system collapse. Can you say if this is a white hat operation, if the white hats pulled the plug? He's saying, I can confirm it's a white hat operation, the best of the best, and he's winking. He's saying, you are welcome to speculate, and he's giving the thumbs up. There's a theory too that he's saying, we have many plans. I cannot be specific, but I agree with Megan and her opinion. This is a white hat operation. And he's giving the thumbs up again. Is there, there's a theory, Val Nek, that one day, like, we'll all be rich and, like, we're gonna get millions of dollars deposited in our bank account, or, he's saying, I don't mean to offend, I don't think this is real. He's showing me, he's saying, I can give more detail. I have said this before. He's showing me the moon. And he's showing me satellites. Satellites monitored on the moon, he says. He says, this is where we are monitoring your bank system. It is secure. He's saying, that is all I can say. Your currency is backed by gold. There is a plan in place. Try not to fear. Try not to worry. What is your perception, Val Nek, on how we think about money? He's saying, I'll let him say this. I don't really want to say this. I have watched Megan use her money. Your people are very strange. Can you reword how you're going to say that? Your people spend a lot of money, sometimes on good things, sometimes on unnecessary things, and he's winking. He's saying, he's saying, in the future, all of your needs will be met. And he's showing me sort of like a utopian future where I see like floating, how do I say this? Hover cars, stuff like this. He's saying all of your needs will be met. Your perception will change. I can pick up on the feeling he gets, and it won't be as much of like a strong give and take. Like, you know, like I want to buy a Yeti cup. I have to give $20. Like, the only thing that I can come up with, like the feeling is that there's more than enough, or that there is enough. He's saying this is correct, but he's saying it won't happen the way you think, and he's winking. Okay. I don't know what that means, but he's saying we will see. So this is another question that you might find strange. Is there a holographic dome over Earth? There's a theory, Val Nek, that space is not real. In some theories, there's multiple theories of this, but one of them is that there's a dome over Earth called the Firmament, and that covers the Earth's atmosphere, and then beyond that is water or moisture, and that there's not really space. What do you think? There's theories that we never made it, like the humans never made it past the firmament. Is that true? He's saying, you have some strange questions. I don't mind answering. And he's winking. He's saying, I have said this before. I repeat again. Your people have been to the moon several times. He's talking about, I'm just paraphrasing what he's saying because I'm kind of reading his mind. He's talking about the Germans and the Germans going to the moon, and he's saying in the 1940s. Is that correct? It's not. He's saying as early as the 1930s. He's giving the thumbs up. He's saying many of your people have traveled to many different planets, many different star systems. It has been a secret. They started with the moon. The moon was their first stop. Saying this is correct. Okay. Cool. Many of your people do not believe. One day they will. That's what he says. It is true. I was on Telegram today, and like so many people don't believe about extraterrestrials or space. And so that just means the best is yet to come. You know? Last question that I want to ask you that you'll probably think is strange, but you know, the way that I think of this is this is just fun. This is not a special, like an official intel report. I'm not running an intelligence operation. I'm not in the military. I can't do that, right? Like I don't have any security clearances, not with the Federation or not with the Air Force, not with the Navy, right? So there is an official intelligence operation going on, right? Some of us know what it is. I mentioned it early in this video, but I don't give messages on behalf of them. So this is just fun. I just consider this sharing information. So Val Nek, is there a portal in the sun? Some say the sun isn't as hot as we think it is, and that extraterrestrials can, that ETs can go use the portal in the sun to travel places. He's saying, I have to be honest. I don't mean to offend anyone. How do I say it? I am trying to be polite. The sun is very hot. Too hot for me. He's showing himself with sunglasses. Too hot for me. There are many portals we can use. We do not go through the sun. If we went through the sun, we would die. We are people too, just like you. Please remember this. This will help them. Okay. Is there any, Val Nek, are there any last messages that you would like to give? I think that the sun thing, that makes sense to me. I get burnt from the sun just from being on the beach. So that, honestly, that makes logical sense to me. He's saying I try my best. Are there any last messages that you would like to give? He's saying, I have watched your people. We have watched your people. I will mention the High Council. This is where my supervisor comes from. He watches many of us. He watches many people of Earth. Many of you live in fear. I have said this many times. Do not consent to fear. This is my message. I salute them. Okay. All right, good. So also one last thing that I wanted to mention is if you're not subscribed, please, or if you are subscribed, please make sure the notification bell is on. My website, Telegram is in the description, and yeah. Lots of love to you guys. I'll be back with more videos.